Madam Secretary, on February 5th, 2014, former Secretary of Interior Ken Salazar said, I quote, "I believe hydraulic fracking is safe. We know that from everything we've seen, there's not a single case where hydraulic fracking has created an environmental problem for anyone. We need to make sure that story is told," end quote. My question to you is, do you agree with your predecessor?
I believe hydraulic fracturing can be done safely and responsibly. I can't say that I have seen any studies that suggest a direct link between hydraulic fracturing and groundwater contamination, but there have been links with groundwater contamination on injected fluids, and I think it depends on assuring that you've got a good wellbore integrity and good practices, and those are the kinds of things we're looking at in our fracking regulations.
To be sure, so you're saying there has been groundwater contamination from hydraulic fracturing?
There has been groundwater contamination from injected fluids, whether it's injected wastewater fluids or other means. So we want to make sure that in our fracking regulations that we have the kind of wellbore integrity so the water is going to its intended location and the frac fluid, and that's exactly what our regulations are intended to do.
Okay. I would ask, Mr. Chairman, that we request that the Secretary provide to us the exact examples of that. I'm totally unaware of those. Again, we've had many witnesses. None have indicated any problems with groundwater contamination. But let's go back to wellbore integrity. Now, as you well know, and as you say, you've actually fracked before, we're talking about 60 years of experience, and again, I'm unaware of a single human that's ever been harmed as a result of hydraulic fracturing. My question is, why do we need regulations for this on the federal level when we've been doing a sterling job, again, not one example of harm to humans along the way? Why do we need federal regulations at this point?
Well, we are charged with safe and responsible development on federal and tribal lands. States, in some cases, are very sophisticated and have regulations in place, and our regulations say that if the state standard exceeds what we have in the federal government, the state standard will apply. There are many states that have robust regulations in place. There are other states, especially in some of these new formations, tight gas and so on, where they have not had any regulations, where it has not been a tradition, oil and gas exploration. There, on federal lands, we must provide regulations to cover those.
Well, I mean, again, if they're doing a fantastic job and we haven't seen any bad results, isn't this really the classic case of the hammer looking for a nail?
I don't believe so, sir. I believe that we are working alongside states to learn from their regulations. We're applying the best standards that we can, and our regulations have not been updated for 30 years.
It seems duplicative. You're learning from the states. If they're doing such a great job and you're having to learn from them, then why do we need a whole other layer, particularly at a time where we have such cost constraints?
Our regulations will apply to federal and tribal lands. We do have regulations now. They just haven't been updated in 30 years, and technology's changed a lot. It's been more than 30 years since I've been in the oil and gas industry, and things have changed dramatically.
All right. In the time I have left, let me ask another question. When you became Secretary of the Interior, it is my understanding, I have a quote from you here, that you said August 1st, 2013, quote, "I hope there are no climate change deniers in the Department of Interior." Is that a correct quote?
Well, in context, I said I have been on the lands and waters around the Department of the Interior, and would be very difficult to see the lands that I have seen and deny that climate change is going on. That is, I believe, what I said.
So is that a purity test for someone to work for you in the Department of Interior, which is a very large department? That means that, in your opinion, everyone should agree with you that there is such thing as man-made climate change? You know, there is controversy over that issue and disagreement, even among very excellent scientists.
Absolutely not. There is no litmus test for people at the Department of the Interior, and I didn't talk about causes of climate change. Every place I've gone on public lands, I see droughts, I see wildfires, I see coastal erosion, I see the impact of storms. And that is a reality that we're facing in this country. And my comments simply were to say that as a large land manager, it is important that we open our eyes to the challenges our lands are facing and that we address those challenges head on.